If you're a movie lover and you collect physical 4K discs, surely you have some favorites, maybe even four, your Mount Rushmore, as it were, of titles that are your absolute best of the best. In this video, I'm going to give you mine. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you know that I often do top 10 lists in any given subject. I've done many in the past. I'll continue to do many in the future. But I was thinking the other day, what are my Mount Rushmore of 4K releases that I think are the best for me personally? We all have our favorites. And once again, normally when I do these lists, I mostly focus on picture and audio, which is going to be a big factor in what I talk about today. But I'm also taking into consideration, I would say, even the movie itself. What are my favorites? What are the movies that not only I love, but are also really done well when it comes to picture and audio, and even extras and supplements? I think that would make for a very fascinating discussion. So I'm going to give you my four 4K titles that I would personally put on my own Mount Rushmore. As you've seen in the thumbnail, the first movie that I would put on my Mount Rushmore of 4K discs would be, of course, James Cameron's The Abyss. What can I say about this movie? The physical release history of this has been interesting at best. I owned the original Laserdisc, the DVD, and we had to wait 20 plus years to finally get an upgraded, new current version of the movie on physical media. But I gotta say, it was well worth the wait. I absolutely love how this disc turned out. I saw it again in the theater when they did the one-night re-release. I was very happy with what I saw, and getting the disc home, I am very pleased. It is one of my favorite movies. The extended cut of this film, which thankfully also was included on 4K, it's still one of my favorites. It's in my top 5 of all time. And it's been many, many, many years since I've rewatched it. It held up incredibly well. And when it comes to picture, excellent. I think it's Cameron, of course, with his other two releases that came out around the same time, Aliens and True Lies. Those were met with mixed results, but I would say probably universally accepted is more so the 4K of The Abyss. I think it looked excellent. I think it looked great. No complaints whatsoever. The upgraded Atmos on this, also, if you're an audiophile, awesome stuff. It is very immersive, room filling, powerful, lots to enjoy here. And what could have easily knocked this off my Mount Rushmore is if the extras were not included from previous releases. Not only did we get, I would say, 95 or maybe even closer to 98% of the old extras ported over, but we got a brand new set. And these aren't just some superficial 1 or 2 minute things that a lot of studios do when they re-release stuff on physical media, and they just give you like a 2-minute featurette. No, there's some good stuff here. There is. I still haven't gone through it all. It's really just a plethora of available content. I have such affection for this movie. I am beyond pleased with how this turned out on physical 4K, the definitive edition, in my opinion. So yes, The Abyss on 4K is the first pick of my Mount Rushmore. The next pick on my Mount Rushmore is a film that is classic. And when I talk about classic movies on this channel, I'm often just stunned with how much 4K, especially when given proper restorations, look on the format. They are some of the best representation of what the format is capable of, in my opinion. We have movies recently released, a lot of VistaVision films, such as To Catch a Thief. The Searchers was absolutely stunning. But for me on this list, Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey definitely deserves to be on my Mount Rushmore. The film is classic. It is one of my favorite Kubrick films. It is so beautiful to watch. It really is a work of art. And when it came to 4K, wow. I mean, the way this looks on 4K, fully supported with HDR and Dolby Vision, it looks like it could have been shot yesterday. And it's so clear, but not at the expense of any scrubbing of grain, it's nicely intact. It's a beautiful looking picture. I am just dumbfounded every time I watch it. I pop this disc in, I know I'm getting a good time. Such a beautiful movie. The picture was done justice. I think it's really great. It is. And there's so many classic movies that also deserve to be. I could do a Mount Rushmore just on that easily. But Kubrick's 2001, great. The audio is also really solid. It's not a Dolby Atmos or anything like that, but I think it's very good. The score, the classical music behind it is really well done. And also when things happen on screen, you get some good surround activity. But I also am very much in favor of the extras that are included here. I'm not 100% sure if everything possibly available is on this, but there's some good content here nonetheless. But yeah, really, Kubrick's 2001 on 4K. I recommend this one to anybody. It definitely is worth picking up on the format. So it is my number 2 of 4 of my Mount Rushmore 4K titles. I love movies that spark my imagination, my creativity. That's why a lot of times I gravitate towards sci-fi, action. Those type of movies just give me a lot of fuel for me to do things creatively. And one of my favorite movies makes for a stunning and demo-worthy 4K is Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim. I am such a huge fan of the movie because who could not love giant robots fighting giant monsters? That concept alone would earn its place on a list of any day of the week for me. But the 4K edition of this film is something else entirely. To this day, it is one of the go-to demo 4K discs out there. It's one of also the earliest releases on the format. Only with HDR, and it is an upscale, but the picture image clarity on this is just breathtaking. Colors are vibrant, they're lush, very visually punchy. I mean, this is such a beautiful transfer. I can just, wow. I mean, I'm just thinking about it now and I'm like, I really need to revisit this one. But of course, not to be outdone is the incredibly just room shaking Dolby Atmos. Wow. I mean, once again, demo all day long for this. Anytime a friend comes over, this is one of the first of 3 or 4 movies that I'll pop in easily. It's so good. It is that good. And I just am forever in awe with what Guillermo del Toro put on the screen. I think this is one of his best films, and I love it. And of course, the extras are also done well on this one. I believe there's a nice healthy amount here. So good. So good. So yes, Pacific Rim is one of my favorite movies as far as being a creative, but just as far as a 4K disc, it definitely deserves to be on my Mount Rushmore. And for my 4th and final 4K that is on my own personal Mount Rushmore, I'm going to give it to one of my all-time favorite trilogies. It's not the one you're probably thinking of, the Back to the Future trilogy. Before I get to that one, I really wanted to put the Lord of the Rings trilogy on here. The reason I didn't is not necessarily because of the divisive opinions on the picture and the audio. I am still very pleased with it. Is it perfect? No, especially with the picture. But I think I still would have put it on this personal Mount Rushmore, if not for one thing. And that is the edition that I have, the Steelbook collection. It does not include any of the extras. There's no extras included here. I'm trying to put titles that are in my own personal collection right now. I don't have the big box set with the extras included. So just to be fair, that is why it's not on here. But that's not taking away from the Back to the Future trilogy. It is still one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I feel it is the better representation of what we saw theatrically to screen on physical 4K. I think it's really done well. Picture is excellent. No complaints there whatsoever. The Dolby Atmos is also well done. It's a really good Dolby Atmos. I think it brings out so many immersive elements. It's fun, it's entertaining, but unlike The Lord of the Rings, it actually does include extras. Are they the most comprehensive list I've ever seen? No, but there's still some good stuff here. I could spend hours talking to people about the Back to the Future trilogy. The 4Ks are, in my opinion, the definitive way to watch the film. I want to, another series that I watch at least once a year. And in fact, I'm actually due really soon to give it a rewatch. But the Back to the Future trilogy, I love it. I think the 4K edition is excellent. And it's definitely my number 4 pick of 4K titles on my own personal Mount Rushmore. So that's it. Those are my 4K titles, my own personal Mount Rushmore, my best of the best that of films that I not only love, but have been given great 4K releases. This is a great time to be on, physical media, on as a physical media collector, because the format really brings out the best in these films. So that's where I'm going to leave it to you. What are your 4K releases, some of your best, your favorite movies that you would put on your own personal Mount Rushmore? Sound off down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guide 365. I will see you at the movies.